Go live. It's being live streamed. Got it. And one of you guys want to monitor it from time to time? Just see how many people. I can do that. I can do that fairly easily as well. So that's okay. Anyway, here's the link to the live stream. Congratulations. Ain't this cool, you guys? Now we're live streaming. Fuck it. Okay. So I just put the road to Glasgow. Dear Umair, Jamie, you might want to throw a shirt on at some point, but no, it's not urgent, actually. You know what? In fact, not having a shirt it's sexy as hell, and it also shows that we play by our own rules. So keep that shirt off if you don't mind, Jamie. Maybe take your pants off too while you're at it. All right, resuming recording. Unless there's any other quick comments or questions about anything before we resume recording. So give me a thumbs up if you're ready to resume. Okay, resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome, Jamie. And after a quick update to Jamie, we're resuming recording. And what we covered is basically, look, we've identified what are obviously the two most important mega solutions, right? MCB and food healers, making them go planetary. And what we need to accomplish that is what I'm calling a meta solution, right? So think of this golden egg as representing like either MCB or, food healers or any other mega solution. We need a lot of, I'm not just saying it all stops there. And you could say, well, what about the plastics? Okay, great. You know what? By feeding everyone in volume with reusable everything, literally reusable everything, right? That's the best way to eliminate plastic. So boom, see, food healers solves so many problems at once. Anyway, but I digress. You got food healers, you got MCB, you got many other mega solutions, right? Many of which, like I said, like with the plastics, they're embedded within, mega solutions that are already on the table. It's not like we need a separate solution for that. You follow me? So many good things come from these two mega solutions: marine cloud brightening and food healers. MCB and food healers. So how do we get these golden eggs? You can say, well, we already got them, so shut up. No, we have the idea, but we need to now take it to full scale planetary implementation, both of them, MCB and food healers. So we need the goose that lays these giant golden eggs, each of which are basically worth the entire planet, because that's what's on the table. We need two big golden eggs for starters, among many others. This is what we call the meta solution. The meta solution is the goose. The meta is the goose. It's the thing that gives birth to the golden eggs. What we want are golden eggs. I'm like, if I could just drive down to 7-Eleven, give me 2 planetary-sized golden eggs, please. And they say, sure, that'll be 79 cents. I would do it, all right? I wouldn't hold back. But you know what? I don't see it at the menu at 7-Eleven or any other drive-through, right? Let's call them drive screws, because we're screwing the planet. And there's not a single drive-through or drive screw or drive any. There's just nowhere where do you get the golden eggs? What I'm proposing is that we need a goose who can lay these golden eggs, many golden eggs of many different shapes and sizes. Well, hopefully only one shape, but many different sizes. And to get there, what is that goose? The goose is collective intelligence, right? See, we've got all these conversations happening all over the world. And I'll just make a little analogy before I characterize the network of conversations that exist at present. I don't know if any of you know of the small town in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area called Piedmont. It's the wealthiest community in the East Bay by far. It's like the Bel Air / Beverly Hills of the East Bay. But unlike Beverly Hills or Bel Air in Southern California, it's very walkable. Anyone can just basically, go there, go for a walk, whatever. And so a friend of mine who lives there calls it a gated community without the gate. Get it? It's a gated community without the gate. I wanted to give that framing because here's what I call this network of conversations. This one here, all these conversations happening, you know how there's just all these great conversations happening on Zoom about health, about healing, about ending racism, about economic transformation, any topic you want under the sun, there's a conversation about it. So there's this vast network of conversations. Only one problem. It's a network of conversations without the network. It's a network of conversations without the network. In other words, they're disconnected. It's as simple as that, right? So what we need to proclaim at Glasgow, most urgently and above and beyond anything else in terms of the singular action item, is help create, help build the network of conversations, right? Help network it, right? It's kind of like everyone's got this beautiful handset at home, you know, rotary telephone, but the phones aren't connected. We've all got the capacity. I mean, it's all here. It's just, that's a weak example because it's like all we need to do is add this. It's almost like adding a little speck of, you know, yogurt powder or whatever to a big vat of milk, pardon the actually plant-based milk, excuse me. Let's take oat milk. And you add a speck of powder and it grows exponentially into yogurt, right? We're looking for that trend. All this needs is a speck. We're already connected in terms of the technology. We don't have to wire anything to anything else. Nothing needs to be built. Jewel is entering the phone. Sorry, entering the room. We'll pause. Hello, Jewel. How are you? Jewel?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
You're still recorded on live.
Nothing needs to be built. Yeah, we're still live streaming. I can't pause the phone. I can't easily pause that, but we've paused recording. Let's see, who was speaking there? Was that Marco or who was talking? Anyway, Jewel, Jewel. Can you hear us okay? How are you? Oh,
Yes.
It's sorry, we're getting the echo. I am so sorry about that. Okay, I've solved that problem. Sorry about that.
I believe Jewel is a friend of mine. Hello, Jewel. Print here.
Yes, I am a friend of his.
Welcome, Jewel. Welcome. We are live streaming, just so you know, and that's being recorded, and we're also making a special recording. So if you're okay going with the flow and just kind of picking it up as we go, I think you'll pick it up very quickly. Basically, the two pictures you see on the screen here, Community Cafe and Marine Cloud Brightening with the red and white boats.
I don't actually see those red. Oh, okay. Now, if I scroll over, okay, I see it.
You see them? Okay. Anyway, so those are the two, what we're calling the two mega solutions, the two primary mega solutions that we need: feeding everyone plant-based foods and cooling the planet through marine cloud brightening. Those are the two main mega solutions we need, okay? In order to get there, we need, if those mega solutions are golden eggs, we need the goose that lays the golden eggs. And the goose that lays the golden eggs of these mega solutions, not just the idea of them, but getting them all the way through planetary scale implementation, is the network of conversations, one of which is this one that you're in right now. But it's a network of conversations that's missing the key networking element, which is just connectivity, right? Getting these conversations connected. And the first and most basic way to do that is through a database. That's just, here's all the conversations that are happening. Here's the ones that are happening right now. Here's the ones that are scheduled in the next 7 days, the next month, the next year. And everyone is welcome to add to that for free, right? So we need this like open source database of transformational conversations, just conversations that are about, you know, something other than, I don't know, nail polish, right? You know, conversations that are about how do we actually save, heal, and transform life on Earth. Now, that can be done in the political realm, the economic realm, the environmental realm, the realm of diet, the realm of agriculture, biodynamic farming, the realm of community, intentional communities, the realm of spiritual transformation, the realm of physical health, the realm of meditation. There's so many realms, the realms of the cosmic, the realms of, unidentified flying, manifestations of whatever, bottom line, all these different realms. Thank you. And it's, anyway, so are we ready to resume recording? Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Oh, Alan's got something to say. Go for it, Alan. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we just earlier today, what you're talking about there about reaching out and combining more people and getting more people together, even getting more people on board here in the Zoom room. I had a lovely conversation, about 40 minutes. Wish we had recorded it, but we were all coming up with great ideas on how to do that and methods, systems for inviting more people and getting more people along. We all had a lot of fun. Definitely need to remember to record that next time, guys. That would be good to have.
Anyway, are you in favor of continuing recording?
Most definitely. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to say that on your dear Umair.
All right. Here, let me go ahead and see if I can add a comment to the video. No, I don't know how to do that, but that's okay. No, actually, I can add it here. Say something. Boom. Here we go. Boom. Okay. Added a comment just for asking everyone to join us. Okay, resuming recording, but broadcasting is continuous. We now have 2 people watching, which is a good thing. Resuming recording. Alan, you good? Anything else? Okay. Thumbs up if you're ready to resume recording. Franca, welcome back. Franca, can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome, Franca.
I just have a quick question before we go to recording.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead, Jill.
So this is my first time here officially. I know Michael and I tried to join during off time, I guess, when I was hanging out with him. But I'm wondering, I know I arrived late. I know there was a 4 p.m. thing, and I just decided to pop in and see because I saw there was something like a block party after. So I'm not fully sure what we're doing here, and I would just maybe like a brief synopsis of what we're doing right now at this moment, like what's about to be recorded.
Sure. Yeah, so what's about to be recorded is a continuation of a building on what I just summarized for you in the last 5 minutes. In other words, I took the last 5 minutes to give you a summary of exactly what we're talking about, and then we're going to go deeper into how do we actually manifest this collective intelligence, which I showed on the image here. The collective intelligence is the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Yes.
And the collective intelligence can be defined. It can be defined in many ways, but one way is as a network of conversations that's networked together, right? Right now, we are a network of conversations, but that's disconnected. So we're really the unnetwork. We're an unnetwork of there's a bunch of conversations happening all over the place. It's like that beautiful image from James. If you see James's image of all those stars in the galaxy, right? Oh, yeah. Those stars, imagine that they don't know about each other, right? How tragic would that be, right? You look at it and look like, oh, the universe, like it's all one big connected thing. And cosmically, we are connected in a lot of ways, but our intelligent life forms are not explicitly like, you can't like turn to channel 17 and be like talking with intelligent life on another planet. We're disconnected.
True. Yeah.
So, we all exist, but we're very disconnected. So we're going to talk about how do we bring the network together. Okay. Is that fair?
Great. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. You're welcome. Okay. And Franca, did you have anything to say before we start recording? Because your microphone is unmuted.
Just a footnote. Humanity Rising has developed a tool that does something a bit like the chrysalis calendar. You can put in what you're about and what you're looking for and what you have to offer, and the thing will connect you with people. Or there's a image of a globe, and that globe will light up with all the little pods where conversations are had that you want to be part of. I just wanted to let everybody know that the Hive has been programmed. The beta version is out. In case that is something that is interesting for anyone. Anyway, I just wanted to let that.
Oh, no,
let you know.
that's very important. So I've written that down because I'm going to mention that. And that's very, very important. So let me mention that. And that general realm, because I think that's one of those things that appears like a solution, but when you really get into it, there's a lot more there than what meets the eye, and I'll cover that briefly. Okay. And by the way, if at any point when we're recording, feel free to do this and say, hey, let's pause. Okay. Hey, let's pause. Right. Is that fair? And do it anytime, but don't hesitate. It's not like you're pulling some red cord and a bunch of firemen are going to have to get woken
How
up.
do we ask for a pause?
You do this, you see this.
Okay, time out. Okay.
Or you can just blurt out, hey, Jamin, pause it, dude, please. Hey, dude, right? Or you can go to reactions and put in something like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Slow down or something. I don't know. You'll find a way. Or just type it into the chat.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to type into the chat right now. Please pause. Please pause. And then
How
if I
about
don't see it,
the horrified face could be like, I have something to say, or could you pause or something? The
Anyway,
reaction face, the horrified face.
I think we got the point. So are we ready to resume recording, or does anyone else has anything to
Although,
say?
is that you with the slowdown on there now?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that off. I was just using it as an example. Like
Okay.
if you didn't want to turn on your camera because you're got a bunch of hair curlers going on or something like that. So you didn't know how to do this, and you didn't feel like talking, you could just do that. Anyway, I'm just giving options. I think we know how to say hello to each other and how to say. So I think we're there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jamin, just before you start recording,
Yeah.
just to say for Franco and Jewel, but although we're broadcasting live just now, only people who speak will be recorded because the faces are not shown, or not even the video box is shown at all. There's only 5 people at the moment on the live video.
Okay.
Actually, so your face is not being shown on it. It's just it'll probably be your voice. I just had a look at it. So
No worries. Thank you.
So that's how it
can we
works.
maybe say where we're all from? Because I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I'm in Detroit right now.
I'm from Scotland.
True.
I'm a German living in England.
Ooh.
I'm an Irishman.
Wait, who's that? Oh, James.
I'm the
Cool.
Irishman.
I came from the hospital because that's where my mom was. I'm in Port Huron, Michigan.
Cool.
I'm in Metro Detroit. Michael, thank you.
I'm Jamie from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you two are y'all are right next door. Michael, Jamie, and Jewel, and Marco. Who's in Michigan, and I'm on an island in the off the state of Washington, called Whidbey Island. We're in between Seattle and Canada on the Pacific coast. Yeah. Anyway, with that, I pass the talking feather. Thank you. Marco, did I cut you off there? I hope I didn't. Anyway, I think we're all good. So shall we resume recording, or is there anything else anyone would like to say or ask or request? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to resume recording, or just say yes, and thumbs down if you're not ready to record, and thumbs to the side if you have a question or comment about recording. Okay, it's unanimous thumbs up yeses, and I'm very happy to see that. 9 engaged people in, frankly, the most important conversation on earth. So, which we're about to take to Glasgow, Scotland, to the COP26 conference. So the agenda is we're going to complete this conversation that we're in right now, but recorded, so that we can share it. Then we're going to talk about our plans for COP26, which will blow your mind in a very good way. It's going to blow your mind so much it'll make you a little bit crazy, right? Michael Prince's beard was black this morning, and it just turned white, just like with the strength of this idea. So you're going to love COP26. Then we're going to get a brief update from Michael on his concert. Okay. Is everybody cool with the agenda? Again, okay, we're ready to record. So we're recording, resuming recording in 3. Let me just get a little water. Yeah, sorry.
I'm just going off camera for a few minutes because smoking's illegal in my country, so don't want to, tempt fate. Forgot we're live.
All right. Are we ready? Oh, and within the root of it, within, the conversation about collective superintelligence, Franca, I have noted to talk about what you mentioned about humanity rising. And so I'll definitely mention that again and build from there. So let me first get to the root of it, the root of the root. We need to get to the root of the root. And then we'll talk about humanity rising and related topics, which is very important. I mean, it's like, anyway, we'll get right into it. And then we'll talk COP26, and then we'll talk concert. Is that fair? All right, resuming recording. Now that I've got some water, thanks for your patience, everyone. Resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. So we're back after a pause. Welcome back, everyone. So we, have been, just to recap super briefly, we have the mega solutions. We need 2 urgent mega solutions, which are up on the screen right now: Community Cafe / Food Healers and Marine Cloud Brightening, or MCB. And what we most urgently need is to bring these mega solutions to full planetary scale implementation. Think of those solutions as these golden eggs. We need the meta solution. We need the goose that lays the golden eggs. The golden eggs are solutions. We need basically a solution generating thing, right? And the goose is the metaphor for it. Absolutely no geese have been harmed in the making of this video. Quite to the contrary, actually. We're all about saving the geese, saving all life on Earth. And that goose, metaphorical goose, is the network of conversations. And right now, gazillions of conversations are happening all over Zoom and, Clubhouse. And then Spotify launched something similar to Clubhouse. And, Reddit's been around since before some of the people on this call were born. And, so it's like, yeah, conversations are happening, but they're totally disconnected. There is no map of the conversations, much less an invitation to join a given conversation, right? It's like each of us is just beating our own rusty, garbage can with half a baseball bat, trying to get the world's attention, when what is urgently needed is an open source, non-proprietary, decentralized, and I'm not just foaming at the mouth here, right? These are actual really important words, so it's worth writing them down, right? Open source, in other words, it's just totally transparent. There's no like Facebook demon algorithms in the background, right, harming young girls in order to make, some white people rich, right? I mean, it's just absolutely absurd. So the opposite of that is just totally open source. Everything's open, from the meetings that are happening about the platform to every last line of code, totally open, right? So open source, decentralized, not owned by anyone, not controlled by anyone. This is very, very important. So, and it occurs to me that one of the best ways to do that would be to put it up on a blockchain so that all the data is completely unmessable with. Find the best way to do that. And, massively parallel, fault tolerant, all these good things. And then you have a network of conversations that everyone can feel good about, right? Because it's just totally open. It's kind of like the FM waves in the atmosphere, not a perfect example, but anyone can get a tower and start broadcasting. Local radio, FM, AM, there's lots of different. So think of it something like that. Like, who would be like opposed to AM radio? Just turn off turn it off if it's bothering you, kind of thing. So we need something kind of as open as that, or almost kind of like the internet. We need an internet of conversations that is highly networked and designed for intense networking along the lines of what we're going to be talking about in the next couple of minutes. I just want to encapsulate it, one scenario. For me, it's kind of the obvious scenario, right? And that is where you have a bunch of conversations happening in parallel that all know about each other. And in fact, they've all come together in agreement. They've agreed to be a network, to proclaim themselves as a network, right? So I guess one of the things that's missing is a proclamation. Proclamation of network of conversations. That sounds about as sexy as my toilet seat. So why don't we come up with something better? But the idea, anyway, is a proclamation of a network of conversations, right? Okay.
A golden,
Huh?
gold pages of change makers. With the intention to share.
So I think Trove is probably the thing that's kind of come closest to this, but Trove is centralized. It's not decentralized. So basically, think Trove, but like on the blockchain, open source that different people can contribute to. Something like that is, I think, what we're really talking about. But I mean, that's part of it, right? Let every change maker have their own page, like up on Trove, for example. But I'm only using it as an example. I am promoting Trove. I think it's great. I love to use Trove, and I highly recommend it to you and everyone else, because short of what we're talking about, we have to go with what we've got. If we're floating in the ocean and the water is cold, get on top of the biggest floating log you can for starters, and then get to a ship, right? So for starters, get on Trove, right? And then on Trove and on, because I think the way we need to go about this, everybody, is we need to acknowledge that a whole bunch of cool networks already exist. Trove is a network that already exists, right? Humanity Rising is building a network, right? That was mentioned earlier, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I think the heart of it, the root of it, as to how do we get this network of conversations to actually become a network, is to first start building connections between and across the various different networks. And that's not always easy. And I hate to say this, but it's not always safe either. So I'll give an example. So there's a network which is roughly in the same part of the universe as Humanity Rising in terms of networking people and hosting conversations and meetings and broadcasts and things like that. That is generally understood to be transformational. Humanity Rising is transformational. This other network that I'm talking about, not to be confused with Stan Pockras's other networks, but this other network I'm talking about, when I very open-heartedly worked with them on helping them promote their thing that they were doing, and then I talked about doing this big open source thing, they launched a series of character assassination attempts against me. And this is significant to point out, because although this is very extreme, I don't think this is like a common thing that happens all the time. It did happen, and it's actually ongoing to the extent that they haven't retracted the lies that they've floated out there publicly. They haven't retracted them. And if anything, they've reinforced them. So the point is that not everyone is going to be happy when they see you going in the direction of a totally open source network of conversations. It basically spells the death of Facebook, right? Because Facebook it's not a log to float on, it's a giant turd, right? And it's infested with corruption, misogyny, greed, hoarding, lies, manipulation. No, seriously. I can get people keep using it because, well, there's nothing else to float on. I want to talk to my friends and it's the best way to do it. Okay, I get it. I'm not condoning it, but I get it, right? As soon as we create this vastly better way, it's going to be like, I don't know, the Queen Mary or something compared to a giant floating turd, with Mosquito Coast and COVID and everything else. No, it's going to be like a luxury Queen Mary where everyone has a safe place. Safety is crucial. Getting to safety is going to take some work. And in my case, some character assassination attempts against me, a whole series of them, like really brutal ones, really, really brutal. And the thing is, if it were true, if the things that they said were true, that'd be one thing, right? I got no problem with the truth, but they made up these lies. They made up these really horrific lies against me. And again, this is a network of people and a network of conversations that I actually believe is transformational fundamentally. But it's that they mixed greed and hoarding and ego and ownership and centralization with transformation and tried to basically monetize it. Well, they are monetizing it, right? Anyway, I point that as an example because these are the kinds of things. Again, that's an extreme example. I'm not saying that's rampant or anything. I'm not even saying that they've done that to anyone else that I know of in particular. But the very fact that it happened for no other reason than we launched the conversation and then the press conference and as ways of kind of helping foment and facilitate this broad networking of the non-network of conversations, right? It was met with stiff resistance, let's just call it that. So there's going to be resistance. Why? Because there are vested interests in not just the status quo in terms of communication and social media, but in terms of the whole oil and gas and coal sectors, the meat industry, the automotive sector, right? The government sector itself. The government is trying to self-perpetuate itself, but it's become this tool of omnicide, tool of capitalism, tool of infinite hoarding and infinite destruction of a finite planet, right? Anyway, I think I've made my points. So what's my bottom line takeaway? My bottom line takeaway is that our message at Glasgow and throughout Dear Umair and beyond, that our message should be very simple. Come, help, build the network of conversations, emphasis on network. Help get us together in an open source, decentralized, probably blockchain, founded way, right? A decentralized autonomous. We need to kind of create this as a decentralized autonomous thing. That these are the rules. This is what it's all about, and it takes off on its own without anyone owning it. All right, let's pause briefly. Okay, we've paused recording. And because Alan put a slowdown. So Alan, go ahead.
Actually, I don't know if I want to say it. Just like you're still technically recording on.
Oh, that's right. We are technically recording on YouTube, so please be aware of that. And let's just go on that assumption. But this is the thing that I'm going to publish anyway.
Well, what I was going to say is, it's not too bad. It's just that it feels uncomfortable because I don't like telling people what to do. But talking about conversations, it's the subject's near Romero, and you're talking about something that we've heard a lot of times about your character assassination. But there's also thinking, I don't know why I'm thinking all these negative thoughts, but it's in the most positive possible, trying to make because all the things that you've said, all the things you've taught us, actually made all of us before you got here, we were actually having an intelligent conversation, and everyone was like, instead of just saying pass talking further and stop. I always feel sorry for you when you do that, because there's times when nobody says anything and you just have to start talking again, and it's not a conversation. It's so like, but people were just asking questions, and then we're getting feedback, and it was really nice. I'm hoping that doesn't sound like a criticism. I'm hoping that sounds like upbuilding, beneficial, useful comment.
Yeah. So in concrete terms, let me kind of do some mind reading here, because I'm not hearing an explicit ask. I'm hearing kind of some analysis, right, which is totally fair. But if I may mind read with a view to cutting to the point, I would say it sounds like you're asking that I don't talk for as long a stretch at a time, but we've kind of let it flow a bit more.
I was feeling like, because we're talking about a conversation, say people who actually do watch this on YouTube, and it's like they say, oh right, it's got a conversation, but if they see the whole bubbly interactive thing that we were doing earlier, it's like they say, oh, we'll go and join into that looks like fun. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I'm not trying to be critical or anything. I'm just,
well, here's the thing. Okay, you've made your point, and I'd like to resume recording, but that change that you're requesting be the change that you want to see in this conversation, right? But the way to do that is to continue recording, but be that change on camera so that the world can benefit from it. The world can be enriched by it.
I'll try to be on camera as much as I can. Yeah, I've just
no. I'm not talking about the video camera. I'm just saying, say it when we're recording, right? Jump in and be that bubbly guy that the conversation is missing, but do that while we're recording. Let's not derail the train, right? Unnecessarily. I think for us to be paused any longer.
My problem is you've got people here who've not heard what you've said before. My problem is I've nothing to say to that, because I've heard a lot of it before and it's repetitive.
Okay, well, okay, Alan, we're not here for your entertainment. I get it. I get that it's repetitive for you. We're trying to put together a recording that makes the point to the world and makes our invitation to the world and makes our case to the world. Because if you combine it with what we're doing in COP26, it's extremely powerful. So my request to you is, say, thumbs up, Jamin, please keep recording. And I'll jump in when I have something to say, because we're on to something extremely important here. And it's not to not be redundant with something we said 5 weeks ago.
And also
I know I've said this 5,000 times. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Also wanted to demonstrate to everyone in the room your beautiful personality, that you say we can do this and we do it, and how wonderfully you respond. So thank you.
No, absolutely. Listen, I encourage everyone to pause recording whenever you want to pause recording. Say whatever you want to say, like what Alan just said. I won't promise to agree with it, but please say it. That's very important. Okay. And I may be passionate like I am now that we continue the conversation. Does anyone want to say anything before we resume recording? Go ahead. And we are continuing to live stream on YouTube.
I thought that we had an earlier like block party open house earlier, but we had a scheduled meeting for Jamin to cover these areas. So there's a distinction with the type of time slot that we're on now. That's what I'm getting. So that's cool.
Exactly. And that's not to take anything away from the block party, but there's a time and a place for everything. And I understand you were having a lot of fun there, Alan, and all that. But again, this isn't about your entertainment. This is about getting an important message to the world, a crucial message to the world about saving, healing, and transforming life on Earth, so that we can continue to be.
My main reason for saying it is not my entertainment really, but to appeal to as many people as possible. And basically what I'm saying is all the stuff you've taught us, all the stuff you've trained us has been so beneficial that it was really nice to see how the conversation went. It was this really interactive conversation, and everyone was coming up with great ideas. I'm not sure exactly how we done it, but I was aware at the time that all the things that were making me do it was all the things I'd learned from what you've been saying, because you've been giving us wonderful advice on listening to all this stuff. But it's just fantastic. In fact, I said during the it doesn't matter. Just carry on recording. Just like, if no one else has got to speak, carry on recording.
All right. Look, I agree with you, but we're only two of us. Thumbs up if you want to continue recording. Thumbs down if you don't want to continue recording for whatever reason, and that can be because you have something to say, like right now. And thumbs to the side if you have a question or comment about recording and pausing and all that. I think we've covered it all. All right, everyone gave a thumbs up. Resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. All right, after a pause, and if you want to, oh, let's pause real quick. And Alan, if you want to take down the slow down sign on your window there, Alan, that would be cool. Marco, go ahead. You're on mute, Marco. We can't hear you.
I like turtles. That's a meme I'll explain later. I just thought somebody'd get a laugh out of that. Let's get back to saving the world, brother.
Okay, very good. All right, resuming recording. And Marco, your microphone's unmuted. Alan, your microphone's unmuted. Everyone else is cool. Thanks, everybody. Resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. All right, after a little pause, let me just synthesize. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is, my name is Jamin Shively, and I am here to recruit you, dear Umair, you, Umair's audience, you world, you, whoever's watching this video, wherever you are, anywhere around the world, no matter where you're coming from. I'm here to recruit you to help us build the network of conversations. Right? There's really, what that really means in practical, there's all these networks of conversations all over the place, including Humanity Rising, including the other network that I didn't name, including all the other networks in Stan Pokras's othernetworks.org, if I'm saying the URL correctly, right? Just Google other networks, Stan Pokras, P-O-K-R-A-S, the Irish spelling. Well, the Irishmen seem to be taking over these days. There's certainly an Irish invasion coming up for COP, and this is probably a good moment to transition the conversation to COP. But if anyone has anything to add or subtract or change to the conversation about recruiting people, and I know it's very fuzzy, it's like in practical terms, what do you want me to do? Well, the first thing is, if you're not in a network of conversations already, join a network. If it's Humanity Rising, join Humanity Rising. If it's ours, it's ours. If it's this other network, God help you, right? But let's, get into a network of conversations. Step number 2, if you're in a network of conversations, or when you're in a network of conversations, right? Take steps as a member of that network of conversations to move that network in greater and greater communion with the others, right? And join the open source, decentralized, blockchain centric movement. We need a name for that, right? I don't know, let's call it the network of conversations movement, right? Why not? Anyway, I think that's the single most important thing we can accomplish at Glasgow, period. Why? Because once we have that, as we accelerate the growth and the networking of the network of conversations, turning it into a true network, right? There's a name, True Network. Turning it into a true network of conversations that are transformational, right? Anyway, with that, I pass the talking tether, and please say whatever you have to say. There's no particular hurry here. And then whenever we're done with this segment of the conversation, I've got a very exciting update on COP that's coming up next. And that'll kind of help put this whole thing in perspective, I think, because the message without the medium is kind of pointless. Now imagine everything we've talked about up till now, the imperative to help join the movement, to build the network of conversations. That imperative, right, needs a medium. The medium is COP26, and I'll talk more about that when I take on the talking feather again. Meanwhile, we got Alan. Go for it, Alan.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, we should have recorded what we were speaking about earlier. It was really beneficial. It's the very question you just asked there. How do we get more people? How do we build and improve? And is Marco around? Marco, what were we talking about? That was a great conversation. What were some of the suggestions and ideas that people were coming up with?
Yeah, we should have recorded that. No, there was basically it was what do we need to do to maximize the fact that Jamin and the others are going to be there, and I guess one of the things was we're talking about doing more live streaming in more than one place, you know, as much as possible. And I don't know, I have notes, but I'm not near my computer right now. I'm trying to cook some food here.
I remember part of what we said, because it was my contribution, the Facebook lives, lives on YouTube's good, because if you've got like 1 million subscribers, that reaches a huge audience, and you know people get to see that. But YouTube, I don't know how other people use it, but YouTube, the way I use it is I search for what I want to look at, as opposed to go for the recommendations or what pops up. And even though I've subscribed to certain channels, I never ever see them unless I go hunting for them. So it's not easily found, but it can be useful if you get massive, like a huge following. It's very useful. But Facebook, you can go on Facebook and then you can invite everybody who's in the room for the first 5 minutes. Say, okay, everybody share it to 10 groups each, and share it with some of you, as many of the friends as Facebook allows you to share it with, and we'll get everybody on board. And once we've got a nice big audience, we'll get started. People do that for 5 minutes and they get great big audiences of 100 within a few seconds, and it just starts to increase and increase because the people have shared it and all the people are seeing it. Because it's a live video being broadcast, it actually pops up in your notifications with a small preview of the video, and people see it and say, oh, what's that? That's a conversation. That's actually happening now, and they can actually go and join and see and maybe even speak. And pass the talking feather to whoever's next.
Looks like Jewel is next. No, that's a great idea, Alan. And you know what? Let's implement that in Glasgow. And come join us. And then whenever you want, Alan, I invite you to take the microphone, the public microphone, and say, hey.
Well, just one thing, I was actually saying that as well. I've got a camera tripod and I want to stand beside Darth Vader and film him and do a live Facebook broadcast and ask all of my, on my other phone, I'll take 2 phones with me, on my other phone, invite everybody to share and groups and everything. And we could get a big audience on the day, if that's okay with you.
Oh my goodness, more than okay. And see, the cool thing, you know what, Alan, you know what I love about you making that call? You're a Scot. You're a Scot on a horse with a sword who's just had a couple of shots of Lagavulin, and you're on fire. Jewel's got her hand up.
But one last comment. Freedom!
Sounds good to me. So,
love it, Alan. Yes, please, Jewel, take it away.
okay, so hello. And yes, me and Marco have the same background. But anyway, I was actually thinking, because everybody was like saying that it should have been recorded, but if this is being shared on YouTube and it's live streaming, isn't there a way to like capture that video still?
Oh, it's being captured. It's being recorded there live on YouTube, and it's being recorded here on my hard drive. And then I'm going to publish it on my YouTube channel. But here, I'll put the link once again in the chat. Feel free to blast out that link.
Yeah, I was just more so saying for everybody that was saying that the conversation should have been recorded or captured earlier. I'm like, isn't it still technically captured?
No, everything we're saying is being captured in 2 different places, Jewel. So yeah. We're already doing what he was saying we should have been doing earlier, and rather than, anyway, the point was made. The point is, let's just keep recording. Let's not. That's the takeaway, I'd say, from that. And great to see you, Jewel. Thank you so much for being here.
The only bit there that we're not doing is the 5 minutes of telling everybody, say, okay, everybody share, and go to Facebook and post to all your friends the YouTube link. And although a YouTube link doesn't pop up as a preview, or does it? Maybe it does. And probably Facebook doesn't, because they don't like Facebook, doesn't like YouTube. I don't know. Anyway, that's the only bit that we really need to incorporate a lot more of, is even if we do it once and all of us here know about it, but it's just if we've got new people coming in, talking to new people coming in.
Hey, we've got Alifi in the waiting room. Somebody remind me who Alifi is.
The name is familiar to me, but I could be
Doctor,
wrong.
put a doctor in front of it. Dr. Alifi, a woman, I think a veterinarian.
Yeah, and
All right.
Milan,
Should we let her in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. Oh, and we are recording. I'm going to pause recording.
we're also live streaming too, so we could expect someone to come in off of YouTube too.
Exactly. And that's actually the point I wanted to make is in addition to providing that YouTube link to watch it, please also provide the link that I'm about to paste in the chat, which is the link to join this Zoom room and join the conversation. Boom, there it is. So please put both of the above links. Just type whatever you want to type about, hey, to watch what we're talking about, come here. We'll click here. To join the conversation, which I highly recommend, click here. As simple as that. So great idea, Alan. So everyone, please do that whenever you can, as often as you can, and in as many different ways as you can. That's much appreciated. And Alan, when we're at COP26, which again, I'm itching to present to you, just a few images. If you'll just hang in there with me a little bit more, we'll get there quickly. Okay. Because we actually lose a lot of valuable time when we stop and say, hey, it was bubbly earlier, just fucking spray the bubbles on the screen. You know how to do it. Anyway, so shall I continue, or are we all cool? Thumbs up if you want to continue recording. Thumbs down if you want to continue not recording. Okay, resuming recording. We got Alifi. Alifi's trying to get in, and I guess she's having a problem. I'm just going to hold off for a second, see if she finally joins. But in the meantime, let's everybody blast out those links. All right, resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. All righty. So great comments, everyone. Really awesome comments and questions. I'd like to present about COP, but I first want to pause and create space for anyone else who wants to jump in with a question or a comment or a proposal or anything related to the big picture we've just been talking about. Let's review. We need the golden eggs. We need the goose that lays the golden eggs. That's the network of conversations. The network of conversations is awesome, except it's missing the network part of the network. It's a network of conversations without the network. And that hence the imperative, build the network of conversations, because as we build it, it will exponentiate. It will exponentiate. It will absolutely exponentiate. Okay. And as it does, yeah, go ahead.
I'll just say that if someone's just summing up on that, I'll just say, so it's time for us to get off the floating turd, grab onto the floating log that's passing by, which is Trove, and that's the beginning of where we're trying to get to. But that's the beginning, and join the conversation here in the Zoom room here, and that get in any conversation. But once you're in conversation, get the conversations connected. But get off the turd first.
Well, you know what we could do, and speaking of the turd, and I could draw a picture of this, but imagine we have a poster that shows a giant floating turd, and it says Facebook on it, and it's got a bunch of people, climbing on, hanging on, getting all covered with stuff, and then in the background, a giant Queen Mary luxury ship, right? That is where we want to get to, and then show like a few people leaving the turd by rowboat to get to the Queen Mary. That's what we're recruiting people to join us in, is the flotilla of rowboats from the giant floating turd called Facebook, right? to the Queen Mary, right? Of saving, healing, and transforming life on earth through a true network of conversations. Okay, I paused recording so that we can welcome Michelle. Michelle, welcome. Feel free to say hello, but guess what? It's never mandatory to speak here on the conversation.
Hi,
Hey, Michelle, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And how did you find out about us, Michelle?
Well, my adopted daughter sent me a link and said, I think you would like to be part of the conversation. That's all I know.
It's my mom.
Awesome. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome. Awesome. Jewel, thank you so much for making the invitation.
You're welcome. I really think she would be of major benefit to this conversation. She's an urban cultural planner, and she's all about building the community of, to me, heaven on earth. She can speak for herself as to how she chooses to identify it. Jamin, you're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just writing down urban cultural planner. And Michelle, I'll just tell you right now, it's very simple. We've been having a really super cool conversation up until now. But with you here, Michelle, now it's perfect.
Okay.
And I just want you to remember that every moment. And especially if you ever have any hesitation to jump in and say something. By the way, this is being live streamed on YouTube right now, only a few viewers, but that's cool. And but what we're talking about is super important, and I think you'll really like it. I will spare us another synthesis other than like literally a 30-second one plus whatever anyone else has to say, and we'll do that off recording. And then we can just jump right back into it. If you're cool with that, Michelle, we're going to be recording not only on, it's technically it's being recorded right now on the YouTube streaming because I can't control that once it's kicked off, but I can control what I'm recording on my hard drive, which I'll then publish on my YouTube channel, which will probably get way more views. Anyway, so that's why we pause and continue. So we've taken an intentional pause to welcome you and to see if you have any questions or comments before we resume recording. And
well, I would like to know the subject matter.
Yeah, great. So let me give you a quick synopsis. Okay. So you see those among the images on the screen, one of which is the community cafe, which I just put on my window. You see that, Michelle?
Yes.
Now, do you see the image of the red boats in the ocean?
I know. I see you right now.
Okay, here, let me pin Marco's red boats. Okay, do you see some red boats in the ocean?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, you have to look at other people's windows.
Yeah, when you pin it, Jim, and it gets large on your screen, but not on ours.
I'll be darned. Okay, well, I hope it happens that way for the recording, but that's a separate topic. Anyway, the priority now is that Michelle, there's something you have to do. I don't know what it is, but you have to.
Okay, I see red boats now. Looks like something with smokestacks.
Exactly. So those aren't smokestacks. Believe it or not, those are sails. That's a really deep topic, but they actually spin and are powered by the wind. As you know, you sometimes see like a kid's toy that's like a flywheel like that. Anyway, it generates sufficient energy, sufficient power to power these pumps, most of it just mechanical transfer of energy to these mechanical pumps, which will pump ocean water into these, I'm just going to call it a glorified shower head. Okay. That pumps water through these glorified shower heads that produce this fine mist, super fine. This is like microscopic drops that form clouds in the middle of the ocean. Why would we want clouds in the middle of the ocean, precisely so that those clouds will reflect sunlight back into space and thus cool the planet. If we do it with sufficient volume, right?
Yeah.
And we can totally do this. How are we going to do it? How much money is it going to cost? It's not going to cost that much money. And it's very efficient to do, very effective to do. And there's a professor in Scotland at the University of Edinburgh, Alan there, who's got the boom microphone, not the boom bong, but the boom microphone. He is in Edinburgh, Scotland, which is exactly where Professor Stephen Salter is, who's the guy who came up with this complete integrated concept. He's building off the work of an Irishman, but he completed it, and it's awesome. And we're gonna see him in Glasgow, and I'm about to present a little bit of an overview of Glasgow COP26 conference that we're all going to be at. Several of us are going to be at next week. Alan has something to say. We've paused recording. Do you want to be on or off recording, Alan?
No, I just if anyone else comes in, I've just invited thousands of people. So
no, that's great. That's the whole point. I think we're going to more and more just kind of go with the flow, because otherwise we'll never get anything done. But anyway, any other question? Okay, we're going to take a quick vote. And Michelle, feel free to vote any way you want. Thumbs down, thumbs to the side, or thumbs up. It's just a vote. Don't feel like you need to like go with the flow if everyone's voting one way and you're voting the other way. The vote is this, real simple. Thumbs up if you want to continue recording. Thumbs down if you don't want to continue recording for whatever reason. We can vote again in 5 minutes if we need to. And thumbs to the side if you have a question or comment about recording. Michelle? Thumbs up, thank you. All right, resuming recording in 3. Everyone put a thumbs up, so thanks everyone. Resuming recording. Franca, are you cool? Franca, you got your microphone unmuted. Alan, you have your microphone unmuted. And Michelle, you have your microphone unmuted. Just so you're all aware. Thanks everybody. Resuming recording in 3, 2. And the reason I say 3, 2, 1 is so that you can always say, no, stop, stop, stop. You got 3 long seconds to say stop. And we can pause anytime. Just do this if you want to pause, okay? Or say, Jamin, please pause. Or some people do this. They put a slower thing up in the window. And anyway, so you got lots of ways to say, hey, Jamin, please pause. And then we pause recording. Resuming recording in 3.
No,
2,
don't stop. Keep going.
No.
Sorry.
Oh, shit. All right. Sorry. Glad I didn't record that. Resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. All right. Back up to speed here. So we've got these, I was just recapping, we got these mega solutions. So one is cooling the planet through what's called marine cloud brightening, or MCB. The other is feeding everyone. You see that image Marco has of a community cafe, right? And that was the beginning of a whole process, which has resulted in food healers, which is about making plant-based foods for everyone, a basic human right. Great for your health, absolutely essential for saving life on Earth, absolutely essential. So with those 2 mega solutions, marine cloud brightening and food healers, the solutions, exist in the sense that the idea exists and how to do it. We know how to do it, and we know all this stuff about it, but we don't know how to bring these mega solutions to life, okay, and get them implemented at planetary scale, basically everywhere, all around the world. That's going to take a lot of doing. That's what I talk about a complete solution. See that big solution at the bottom there? I'm talking about a complete solution, thorough, implemented, full-scale implementation of marine cloud brightening, full-scale implementation of food healers. Oh, Candace is joining. And again, we're going to increasingly just kind of go with the flow. But let me pause quick. Candace.
Good evening.
Hey, Candace. Good evening. Welcome. How are you?
I'm well. I have to be completely honest. I don't know the conversation I'm joining, but I did have a good friend of mine say you should be a part of this conversation, and I clicked
Thank
the
you for
link.
coming. Yes. I'm not telling people what the conversation is. I'm just telling the people I know would be of benefit to us and would benefit from it to join. And so I'm happy that two of my favorite people have joined.
Love it. Love it. Well, it's really perfect that you just joined, Candace, because I was just about to give a synopsis of what we're doing. Are you cool with recording? We actually are recording right now on YouTube. I'm not recording manually, but we're recording right now on YouTube, and 5 people are watching. Not a big deal. But anyway, I would like to record to publish on my YouTube channel. That's when I ask permission. I say, hey, are you cool with recording? And if you have any questions about recording, feel free to ask. But I was going to give a synopsis on the air so that other people can benefit from it as well, right? Because other people joining the conversation right about now want to know what's this all about. But anyway,
I'm super cool with recording. I may have my camera in and out because I am in the process of doing family pumpkin carving evening. So I don't want folks to get a headache from seeing the camera move all around, but I'm down.
No, that's totally cool. That's totally cool. So, and feel free to, you can always turn off your camera if you feel like it. Don't feel like you have to be on. It's not impolite or anything. So anyway, you'll know how to manage that, I'm sure. We've all spent enough time on Zoom on COVID that we know the drill. Anyway, shall we resume recording then? And may I welcome you on the air, Candace? Like during recording?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. All right, let me do that. Resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. All right, after a brief pause, welcome, Candace. So cool to see you here. Candace, we've been having a really cool meeting up until now, but guess what, Candace? With you here, now it's perfect. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I encourage you to just jump in with any questions or comments at any time. And let me pause again because we have Dominique. Is it Dominique or Dominique? Dominique.
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 Yeah.
Welcome, Dominique. So great to see you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're about to do a quick recording of which is a synopsis of everything we're talking about. So my question to you is, first of all, real simple. Are you cool with recording? Everyone here is. I just want to know if you are, and if not, we can talk about it. But back to you.
No, I'm good with recording.
All right, great. So I'm about to give a synopsis. So you're here at the right and perfect time, Dominique. And Dominique, I just want you to know, we've been having a really cool conversation up until now. But with you here, now it's perfect.
Oh, fantastic. So what are we talking about?
All right. Well, now I'm going to hit record since you've told me you're cool with that. And I'm going to give got your point, Marco. Thanks for that. I just want to err on the side of, basically err on the side of letting people know what they're stepping into. And that's actually a really important point, which will be part of my synopsis. Resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. All right. Welcome, Dominique. And welcome, Canvas and Michelle and Jewel, all of our recent newcomers to this, relative newcomers to, first of all, the block party. We have a 24-hour collective intelligence block party every Friday, Saturday. And sometimes we have serious meetings like this one where we're just like totally on point and I'm presenting a bunch of cool information and people are asking questions and making comments. Other times it's more just like flowing, just people literally just like hanging out. Hey, you should see this video. And people like share videos and stuff like that. Anyway, the synopsis goes as follows. Of all the problems in the world, our three biggest mega problems are exponential planetary overheating, people going hungry and malnourished, and large-scale animal agriculture, which is destroying the ecosystems, forests, water supplies, just destroying the planet, destroying the biosphere. Those are the big three: cooling the planet, feeding everyone, and getting all of humanity to change over to an entire plant-based diet. So if those are the three, and this is just a synopsis, any one of these points is a whole, 10-hour conversation in itself. But each of those three, goals requires specific solutions, right? Cooling the planet, ending hunger, and going plant-based require solutions. The two biggest solutions that actually together accomplish all three goals are the one behind Marco's head, which is about cooling the planet through marine cloud brightening, which is a very technical and fascinating topic, which I highly recommend to everyone. The other mega solution is what's behind Alan's head, and now my head, which is community cafes, which evolved to become food healers, about feeding everyone plant-based foods, making plant-based foods a basic human right. Making food a human right, not just a human need, but a human right. Okay? That's what's on the table here, fundamentally. Making food a basic human right. Through feeding everyone. I mean, it's like really simple. Feeding everyone plant-based food. So we create this super awesome plant-based stews. We're currently doing this in different places in Los Angeles and Arizona. And it's really taking off. But it's one thing to have the idea of these solutions and even some prototypes of these solutions. It's another thing to have these solutions actually implemented. Hence the following picture. You see the goose that lays the golden egg down here? The golden eggs represent the solutions, not just the ideas of the solutions, but the solutions actually implemented all around the world. Everybody with me? Does anyone have a doubt about what a solution is? If you do, feel free to speak up. And so if we need these solutions, which are golden eggs, we need the goose. Can somebody get me a goose? We need the goose that lays the golden eggs. We need that which will generate these solutions, which is kind of a crazy concept. People usually go straight to, well, we need to do this. And they feel like they've done their part just by speaking up or writing a blog post or something like that. Sound familiar? Right? Well, okay. Newsflash. We need more than the idea of the solution. Thank you, Candace. We need more than the idea of the solution. We need it fully implemented throughout the world. So no, Sherlock, your work is not done. Our work is not done until we have this fully implemented throughout the world. So no, we don't have the golden egg yet. We have the idea of the golden egg, but we need the actual golden egg. So what's radical is to say we need the goose. No one ever talked about geese. People talk about solutions all the time. Again, they're going straight for the egg. What, are you going to birth the egg? Right? No. We need a goose to birth the egg. Thank you, Jewel. We need a goose. Can we get a goose? All right. Well, I have a fancy name for the goose, which is the meta solution. And with that, I mean, as simple as you see here on the screen, that which gives birth to the golden eggs. So when you hear a meta solution, just think the goose. It's as simple as that. Just think the goose. Okay. So what's the goose? The goose is the network of conversations. Now, this probably isn't your first rodeo. This probably isn't your first time in a Zoom room where we're talking about changing the world, cooling the planet, ending hunger, getting everyone to change their diet. Yes, even on, Sunday afternoon barbecues. There's all kinds of great vegan solutions. They're not really solutions yet because they're super expensive. And basically you have to be, well-to-do or better or wealthier in order to, partake. Hence the free food. We need to make this free, a basic human right. Right. Anyway, that's why food healers, right, is precisely the solution, right? Feed everyone for free. So, okay, so how do we get the goose? Where do we get the goose? Right? Where we get the goose is by recognizing that the goose itself is a network of conversations. The network of conversations exists, and there's all these great Zoom conversations happening all over the place. It's just that we're totally disconnected. Connection is what makes the network. We're disconnected. We're like the unnetwork. Those of you who, like me, weren't born yesterday will remember the 7-Up ads in the 1970s and 80s, where they proudly called themselves the Uncola, right? Yeah, okay. Well, we have the unnetwork. We have the 7-Up version of a network of conversations, and we need the real thing. Ain't that the truth? No, seriously. Ain't that the truth? We need the real thing. We need what I'm calling the true network of conversations. And that's a deep, see, all these are deep subjects. How the heck are those red boats spraying mist seemingly into the ocean? How on earth, does that constitute, how does that cool the planet? That's a deep subject. How do you get food healers, community cafes all around the world? That's a deep subject. Alice, welcome. We're recording as I trust you. Sorry, you cool with recording?
Yep,
okay,
saw that. Thank you.
Okay, you cool, just kind of rolling with it because we're all like deep into this conversation. And you know what, Alice, here's the thing. It's been a really cool conversation up until now. But with you here, Alice, now it's perfect. So we just went from really cool to perfect. How cool is that? Everyone give a warm welcome to Alice, who took us from really cool to perfect. That's a big jump. Candace is psyched. So is Jewel. Welcome, Alice. Anyway, we're going to resume recording. Feel free to say hello or not. Some people are off camera. That's cool. Some people talk a lot like me. Maybe I talk too much, and feel free to say pause recording anytime. Resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. So just picking up where we last paused. Welcome everyone. Welcome all newcomers, especially newcomers. Welcome. How do we bring the world, in order to have the solutions that you see up on the screen in some of the still images? How do we both perfect those solutions and get them implemented all around the world? How do we do that? That's a big question, right? And so we've kind of gone off onto the theoretical a little bit, but it really helps me anyway to say, okay, if we need these big solutions, how do we perfect them and get them implemented? Those are two different tasks, of course. But for both ideation, the perfection of ideas, and the implementation of these perfected ideas, I'm saying that we can get a goose. Get a goose. You know what? I like that. Let that be a thing. Get a goose. I think we can get a goose. We can get the goose that lays the golden eggs of all these solutions. And that's called the network of conversations. Right now, a gazillion conversations exist on Zoom and Clubhouse and elsewhere. And a lot of them are like really cool. Like, I think this is a pretty cool conversation personally. I don't know about you, but I think this is pretty cool. But the problem is all these conversations are completely disconnected. So we've come up with a radical solution idea. It's not perfected, but we have the idea of a vast network of conversations, and we're talking about how to accelerate that. And one of the big ways is through COP. So I'm kind of itching to spill the beans about COP 26 in Glasgow, where several of us are participating. So if you're cool with me sharing some stuff about COP, give me a thumbs up. if you have something to say first, give me a thumbs down, and that's cool. Or just jump in if you have something to say or ask.
Just for your information, your voice was breaking up a little bit on 3 points there. It's better now, but just if there's anything you can do or anything you know that might be causing it, so don't miss anything.
Okay, I might just go off camera for a little bit. Anyway, okay, great. So let's continue then. Let me share this really cool video from Dr. Silas Rao, who's he's my favorite of the awesome vegan leaders of the world, of whom there are many, many, many who I love. Dr. Silas Rao is my favorite of all. He is just incredible. So check out, everybody see this video? Okay, see the cow? All right.
Methane is a greenhouse gas that causes climate change.
So much is being emitted that life on Earth is collapsing.
Know where most of it comes from? Me. But it's not my fault. It's yours.
There are over 1 billion cows now.
To feed us, you tear down forests to create new grazing land. But we need trees to capture greenhouse gases. The climate disaster is human-made, not cow-made. But you can slow it. You can stop it. You must stop eating meat.
Me too.
A plant-based diet is good for all us animals and the climate. You can make a difference. Transform to a plant-based diet.
And the British government came to negotiate with him. It only took 12 years for that simple act to change and to create a social movement.
Okay, I can't hear that terribly well, but anyway, any questions or comments about that awesome video before I talk about something really exciting? All right, here's what's super exciting. Dr. Silas Rao and company are bringing 4 giant blow-ups, physical, like you'd see at the Macy's, parade or whatever in New York City in 1975. He's bringing 4 giant blow-up animals: cow, pig, chicken, and fish. And we're gonna have those, our group, the folks you're talking to right here, are going to be operating those animals from the 7th through the 12th. So the last 6 days of the conference, we've got full control over 3 of those animals: the pig, the chicken, and the fish. Silas is going to have the cow inside of COP, but we're going to have the other 3 outside of COP, and we're going to be parading them around in the sun, in the rain, with music. I'll be dressed as Darth Vader, right? And as such, we're going to be singing and dancing very much along the lines of, here, I'll just play a quick little excerpt of me with my mom and my sister Betty at the University of Washington, even before I hit play. Is that cool or what? There I am, dressed as Darth Vader. See the shadow in the background? That's the shadow of the statue of George Washington right on my shoulder. There's my mom, there's my sister Betty. And let's play the excerpt. It's catching up here.
Drug cartels, criminal drug cartels, criminal drug cartels will cut you down. You won't get up again, so you better get out of town. We'll cut you down. You won't get up again, so you better get out of town. We'll cut you down. You won't get up again, so you better get out of town. We'll cut you down. You won't get up again, so you better get out of town. Criminal drug cartels. Criminal drug cartels. Criminal drug cartels. Criminal drug cartels will cut you down. You won't get up again, so you better get out of town. We'll cut you down. You won't get up again, so you better get out of town. We'll cut you down.
All right, you get the idea? So that Darth Vader, same exact costume, but different signage, right? We've got signs with the red and white sailing vessels that produce the marine cloud brightening. We got signs about food healers and feeding everyone plant-based foods, right? But we're going to be singing in Spanish. I love singing Spanish love songs. There's a whole bunch that I'd love to sing. Don't get me started or I'll sing one right now. But anyway, we're going to be singing in Spanish and English and whatever other languages, because it's going to be a big cultural fair, right? Come right up. What song would you like to sing? We'll put on the background music, right? We got a very unprofessional DJ. That's me. Hopefully James and Jamie and Alan can bring some professionalism to it. Anyway, oh, before I forget, Alan, I hope you'll stay with us. We got places in Glasgow. Anyway, and everyone's welcome. So just come one, come all. But meet us in Glasgow and be a part of it. We're going to have these giant Macy's fair parade, whatever size animals, carrying them all around Glasgow with me dressed as Darth Vader, singing Spanish love songs, promoting not only the solutions, but the meta solution, the goose that lays the golden eggs, the network of conversations. And the singular ask is help us build the network of conversations. Help us build the networking. Help us build the invisible spider's web that the Charlotte's Web. Help us build the Charlotte's Web. How do you like them apples? The Charlotte's Web.
Jamin.
Yeah.
I hope I remember what I was going to say. The beautiful thing about the Darth Vader is it's the whole message behind it of how ultimate evil can, in the end, turn to good.
Exactly. That's right. That's what I was talking about with turning the tunnel boring machine around. There's nothing inherently wrong with, systems. Okay, even systems that manufacture and transport stuff. Nothing inherently wrong with that. But we got to get it pointing in the right direction. And the first major transformations are two. Number one, include food healers, community cafes in all communities around the world, serving nothing but the most nutritious, delicious plant-based foods to all people for free, period, as a basic human right. Now, how to accomplish that? That's where we get into conversations about that. Please join those conversations. We need you there. If you're interested, we need you there, literally. And it's actually as simple as that. Secondly, we need to cool the planet with marine cloud brightening. And we get to do both of these with the same networking infrastructure, the same internet as evil Facebook, right? The same internet as evil Facebook. That's Darth Vader taking off his helmet, losing the act and being the real human being and the real father again, saying, my son, I love you. And, let's do something good. Maybe I have to die, whatever, but let's do something good. So the old ego has to die. The old shell, it was a false shell anyway, of ego and infinite hoarding, right? And we're replacing it with a beautiful manifestation of the collective, including, but not limited to, collective intelligence, right? So, the network of conversations is not everything. It's not the be all end all. It's just the next missing piece in the tumbling dominoes of progress, swimming upstream in a river of shit, which is, Facebook and basically capitalism and what they've done to our precious democracy in the United States, such as it was, what they've done to civil rights, human rights, of all different kinds. It's horrific, right? So we're swimming upstream up a river of shit called Facebook, right? But we're also using that river in which to swim, in which to make progress upstream to get to the Queen Mary, per the analogy I was talking about earlier. We'll have to draw some pictures at some point. In fact, not a bad idea. I can do that in a few minutes because the map is getting quite extended. Wouldn't that help? Does anyone think that would help, or would that be like, oh no? No, let's talk a little bit more about COP first, and then we can get as philosophical as we want. All right. Any questions or comments about our plans at COP? We're going to be there from November 1st through November 14th. In Glasgow, with massive signage, music, lighting.
Do you have special guests appearing with you?
Starting with we got James Desmond representing Ireland, right? We've got Alan Bell representing Scotland. We've got Jamie Gilchrist representing the United States of America. You've got Jamin Shively representing Mexico. You've got, who else we got? And you don't have to represent countries. You can represent anything you want to represent. I'm also representing Marine Cloud Brightening and Food Healers Community Cafes, right? Any other comments or questions? And feel free. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's all about conversation. Let's just let it flow. Let's just hand the talking feather around. I've talked too much anyway. Passing around the feather. Go ahead, Jim.
We also have Dr. Silas Rowe has also got Paul McCartney as well for the 5th as well, just in support of the plant-based diet.
Oh yeah, Paul McCartney is going to warm up. This is true. We organized a press conference for Professor Stephen Salter to present his marine cloud brightening solution, the one behind Marco's head. That one with the floating boats and all that. What floats your boat? And he's Professor Stephen Salter. Paul McCartney is going to warm up for Professor Stephen Salter. Same exact press conference room, 24 hours earlier, Paul McCartney goes off. 24 hours later.
That's beautiful. And I want to just weigh in really quickly before I have to go, because I've enjoyed this conversation tremendously. And I don't know how to put my email in the chat or put my, contact information in a space where you can capture. But as I'm listening to you speak to those big 3 goals, and I think about, feeding everybody and everybody eating a plant-based diet, I think about our spaces to be able to have that conversation, which is the golden egg, right? That are going to be the most, fruit bearing for us to use an analogy related to our movement against, right? Or toward, right? A more sustainable and healthy space. And what I might say is, for me, what's coming up is, as someone who is primarily involved in education and, educational administration and supervision, and that's a big part of, coaching and all of those. The big thing that I see every day, which is a big right that students don't have, is a right to a healthy meal. A right to a healthy meal.
That's right.
And it's our jobs to ensure that every kid has a healthy food stream from that earliest age, so that we're not trying to convince a 16-year-old to switch to, right, a healthy, plant-based, free, equitable food stream. That's what we really, I feel like if we could move toward that, that's when we're really going to begin to change the imprimatur of our cultural system of what eating for free means. Right. And if that's what it is, right, then the conversation, that network conversation, needs to be had with the folks who are contracting with, private companies who at the same time either provide the hotels or prisons to provide the free food to our children that have some percentage of quote unquote real meat. And it's nowhere near the, the same level of quality as, one could get if they went to a Taco Bell at 3 a.m. in the morning. So I would offer that, there's a place to have these conversations with regard to those two. And I think that once we move toward that, then we are really going to move to preparing our planet for being a new planet that we are in love of and in stewardship of. And that's what needs to happen. And it'll happen when we stop, like the first video we saw, right, showed raising trees. And I'm from the Pacific Northwest, and now I live in Detroit. So I'm seeing what it means to live in a community that values health and farmers markets on every corner and having impossible opportunities for students' food at school. I know that it's possible, and I don't know if it's about scaling or, like you said, continuing the conversation and deepening the conversation. But I appreciated being a part of this evening, and please, I'd love to continue to be a part of the conversation.
Awesome. Listen, yeah,
Candace,
go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I just say, Candace, that was absolutely beautiful. It's one of the best ideas I've heard in here so far. Free food, but free food for children who are already getting free food. Make sure that they're trained right from an early age. That's so amazing. That's really, thank you for that.
Right? Like, I don't want to convince you at 16 that this chicken nugget is the same chicken nugget as the same, chicken nugget that you had before, when in reality, the free food chicken nugget that you had has way less nutritional value, protein support, vitamin acumen within it to support your healthy growth as the ones you're getting that have some element of what we would call, quote unquote, real meat.
Yeah, and of course the whole point is to eliminate meat altogether and go pure plant-based. I mean, what's more nutritious than lentils, fresh produce,
beans, curds, all kinds of
whole grain organic rice, to go with the beans, not some white.
I want my own children see, pure white rice, and they're confused. Right? I'm with you. Yep.
Exactly.
Rice should have some kind of grain to it. Absolutely.
So, mushrooms.
No.
Just had some delicious mushrooms. In fact, I put the camera on my mushrooms just as you started talking about delicious plant-based food. Like, oh, this is going to taste even better now.
Good stuff.
I've actually been a lot healthier. So it's a definite health boost, because I've just recently sort of been able to convert, because I've been trying to be vegan for years, but all of this encouragement, I've been able to get a lot closer to the final target. And I'm always healthier when I'm on my vegan diet, which is very
We all are. We all are.
Totally.
We all are when we're on that whole grain and real food diet. We all are. And just to reiterate that last point that I made, there's a place where students are receiving food for free under private contracts, similarly to a place where people are being held without their choice in correctional facilities and receiving free food. If we want to make vegan food and plant-based food real for everyone, we're going to do it by capitalizing on those spaces and renorming what it means to have free food for people. Free food should be the food with the most dignity, should be the food with the most vitamin, all of the nutritional values that we need from food should come from that. If we don't take care of the least of us, then who do we take care of? And how dare we give our children something that's not going to give them a world 200 years from now that they can still inhabit? And with that, I'm going to say good night, guys.
Candace, thank you so much, sister. Thank you so much for being here, and come back anytime. The 24-hour block party goes for 24 hours straight. Starts at 7 a.m. Pacific every Friday morning. So join us anytime. Great to see you, Candace.
I'll put your email in the
And I'm pausing recording because I gotta take a call real quick.
I was just going to say there, anyway, Jewel, if you could say to Candace that she could put her email in the chat, or she could send her email, or you could put it in the next time for the emailing list.
I'll make sure she gets the information.
Okay, girl, thank you.
You're welcome. And I noticed Don joined us. Thank you.
And Jewel, thank
Sure.
you. You responded instantaneously to the advice. And how many people was that you managed to invite in? About 4? We need to have you in every day.
Well, I have Alice, Michelle, Dominique, Candace, and now Don.
6 then.
I'm so
It's
happy
fantastic.
y'all
Even better.
joined.
Thanks for the invite, Jill.
You're welcome.
And welcome, Donald. Sorry, man, I didn't notice you popping in there. I just noticed Candace leaving.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm just listening. First time on the call, so.
While Damon's away, can I ask anybody that knows? It'd probably be the lady that just left. Who was that? What's her name again?
Candace.
Candace, yeah. How would you go about doing that? I mean, I'm in Scotland and I'm the only one in the group in Scotland. How would I go about going to schools or places where food's already free and encourage them to?
Do you all have free meals like
They
for
have free
children
meals
in
at the schools.
Scotland?
Do free meals for the kids, yeah.
Okay.
How would you go about encourage them? Just go to the actual school or
There's actually quite a few documentaries about that in European schools, actually.
Maybe that would be how to do it, is to take
there's
a
one
link
French
of
people that did it.
link of a video and post it to the school boards and stuff.
Hey, do we want to be recording? I just had to take a call, so I paused recording just because somebody needs
We
to.
didn't welcome Donald.
Oh, Donald, welcome. Donald, welcome to the party. Literally, this is Michelle, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to say I had a previous meeting, so I love the topic, and I look forward to meeting you all again.
Me too. Thank you so much for being here, Michelle. And we'll see you
Okay.
next time. And I see Alice has her microphone unmuted. And
Well, there's a question. There's a question on the floor about how to make an impact on school lunches in the United States. So I was just gonna start responding to that.
Shall I record? Does anyone have anything to?
I'm going to have to start using my space bar so I don't forget. Thanks for reminding me all the time, though.
All right, awesome. All right, thumbs up if you want to continue recording. Thumbs down if you don't want to continue recording. Thumbs to the side if you have a question or comment about recording. And you can pause anytime, either do this or just say pause. Resuming recording. And I'm going to have to go in about 10 minutes myself. So let's have a power wrap to this segment of the recording, and then y'all can record if you want in my absence. I just have to go to an important appointment before I travel tomorrow, heading towards Glasgow, Scotland. Woo! Anyway, so resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. All right. So as promised on this session, we're also recording this under the banner of Dear Umair, and that's an awesome story in itself. But, as promised at the very beginning of this recording, what's the root of it? What's the root of it? Like, what do we need to do right now to make this happen? And fortunately, the answer is head to Glasgow, Scotland. Everyone's welcome. Alan, I hope you'll stay with us if that works for you. And please bring your wheels, because we definitely could use a car. And anyway, we'll here I paused recording because I don't want to talk about sensitive information on the recording, but yeah, we'll cover all the costs, no problem at all. Resuming recording, and just bring whatever you need. It's all good. And let's talk a little later about some other logistics and whatnot. But anyway, resuming recording in 3, 2, 1. Speaking of Alan, I'm so psyched that Alan, you'll be there and be able to speak in Scottish to the people there. And, then we can kind of, I mean, it's just that it's your host country. It's your country that's hosting COP this time. So how cool that you'll be there with us on the microphone. And, but the root of it is this: the message needs to be simple. Help us build the network of conversations. Right? Where else are we going to get the goose? Right? So how do people do that? Again, there's 2 steps I outlined earlier. Number 1, join a network of conversations, any network of conversations that's doing anything transformational. And B, help get that network connected to the network of networks, to the true network, what we're calling, the real thing. The Charlotte's Web. Not the unnetwork, but the true network, the real thing, right? And then let's ourselves host as many meetings as we're comfortable hosting on the real thing, the true network, the network of networks, open source, decentralized, blockchainized, totally transparent, no money involved, absolutely no money involved. Like let it not even be, I don't know. We'll talk about that. But I don't see why we should have any involvement of money whatsoever. And because money corrupts inevitably. And let that be the rallying cry, because once we build the goose, once we build this thing that lays the golden eggs of solutions, not just ideas, but full scale, and all the way to full scale implementation and all the steps in between, which are many, what better way than a network of conversations, or a network of networks in this case? Anyway, passing the talking feather. Love to hear from everyone. I just ask that people be quite concise, because we've got limited a few minutes till I need to leave. And then afterwards, do whatever you want, knock yourselves out. And please stay in the conversation, because it's an awesome place to be. I'm here as much as I can. I just have things to get done before my trip. Passing the talking feather. James, great to see you. What do you think of all this?
Yeah, fantastic, man, and great. I mean, Jewel is a perfect example. They all know what you're saying. Like, she just reached out to a few friends, and as you see, there are 6 turned up there in a matter of half hour or so, and that's what we're talking about. Basically, is we're only asking people to show up, just show up to the conversation, and it doesn't have to be this conversation. We emphasize that as well. What we're talking about is building a network of conversations. But you're only going to show up to the conversation that is of interest to you, on the subject that interests you, maybe in your local area, or something to raise awareness in your local area for the greater good of your local area. Because at the end of the day, it's coming down to, we have to look after ourselves. We have no other choice when we see it's in the face of us all that we are facing a lot of changes with global warming and everything else. Plus, there's a lot of political wrangling going on all over the world, but it's not for the greater good of us, the people on the ground. So at the end of the day, it is up to us, we the people, to look after ourselves. So that's the only way we can do that, is we actually get together and have these conversations and connect these conversations and cross-reference these conversations with each other, so that we can share ideas and knowledge, not any sort of revolution that would cause any sort of violence in any way whatsoever, but a revolution of a way of life, a revolutionary way of thinking and connecting for the greater good of people. Because we either have to do it, we do that and come together for the greater good, or we're going down a very bad path, which we all know in our own heads. We can see that there's nothing good coming, whatever way we may envision it, or whatever way we may relate it to, whether it be global warming, whether it be social collapse, whether it be the rise of fascism and racism and all these other things that are escalating around the world. Whatever it is that is of concern to you. But if you want to get involved in a conversation where you can find people like-minded, who think like yourself and want to help and try to do something about it, well, then this is what we are. This is what we're offering. This is what we're talking about. Get off of the floating turret, like Facebook, where people are just passing horrible, nasty letters under each other's doors and running off, scoffing about it, where they feel great, degrading people from afar. But that's not what we're offering. We're offering where people support each other, come together for the greater good, and for the hopefully, that we can collectively come up with enough solutions that we can actually reverse the warming, which we're talking about with ideas like Professor Salter's marine cloud brightening. There's just so many different situations in our lives that we need to tackle. But are we actually the intelligent species that we believe we are? You know what I mean? Or are we actually going to get up off our asses and tackle these problems together? Because it's the only way we can do it, together. And we can't depend on leaders to do it for us. It has to be us together to do it. So that's what I say. Join the conversation. So anyone that's interested, get in on the conversation. Get in on this one or whatever. And if you like the conversations here, and there are very, very varied conversations that go on here. This is a 24-hour collective party at the moment on Friday, every Friday. This is the 85th now. So we've been going a while. And there's many other people come in and go out, and nobody's obligated to anything. There's no charge, no fee or anything. But when you become part of the group, what you're doing is not only finding a little solace for yourself in life, but you feel good in the sense that you're actually helping as well, you're contributing. And that's actually in the form of itself is a kind of, it's a kind of medicine, basically, for anyone that may be out there even feeling alone or anything else. You're also finding company with like-minded people. So there's lots of benefits in just helping others, especially helping others, because you're helping yourself too. So I could go on all day about this, but this is the only way we're going to get out of our situation is by collectively coming together. And, God willing, we'll actually prove it. And we'll also, along the way, realize that we are not the most important species on the planet. We are just one part of a symbiotic planet, a whole planet that is necessary that every life and organism survives on it. So we have to accept that and learn to live with it, in union. So I'll leave it at that. Sorry, I'm blabbing on again, Jamin, as usual.
Oh, goodness. No need to apologize, James. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect. That's exactly what we're talking about here. It's as simple as that. Alan has a comment. Go for it, Alan. Oh, Alan, you're on mute there. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I can push the button right now to book the car, but discussing it's probably off recording. I don't know if.
Yeah, here, let me just pause. Let me just pause. Yeah, go ahead.
It's the last car, and it's available Sunday to Friday. I probably could get it longer, but I don't know how long the conference is.
No, get it for as long as you can, and even if you have to get two different contracts, just jump on them. And if you need me to PayPal you some funds, just give me your appropriate PayPal address. But I'll either reimburse you when it's done, or halfway through, or literally today. So you tell me when you need to get paid.
£217, which I think is literally almost all I've got. So I'll probably just have enough food for tomorrow if I buy it.
No. Okay, give me your. Do you have PayPal?
Yeah.
Okay, give me your address. Give me your address, please.
Daily Planet with an I, IT, so a daily plan it.
Actually, you want to just put it in that. Well, you can just give it a private chat or a public chat or whatever you want, because I just need that. Okay, I'm looking for it in the chat and I don't see it yet. Okay. Oh, there we go. So using Hotmail instead. Okay, so that's the one that you want for your PayPal. Is that correct, Alan? You're on mute, and that's okay. Or maybe it's not okay.
Both of my emails work for PayPal. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now. Well, which do you prefer? Which do you prefer?
Either one will go to my PayPal. It's whichever you want to use. The only clause is I've got a dentist appointment on Tuesday. Sunday morning I've got an appointment, and Monday evening, but it's finished in the evening, isn't it? So
No. We need it for as much as we can, as much time as we can get it from November 1st through November 14th inclusive. If you can get it for all 14 of those days, that's the ideal. And,
I'll just click on, what was it, the 14th? Is that 14th like to the end of the day?
Yes, till the end of the day. Well, I'll fly out in the morning of the 14th. I don't know when James and Jamie fly out. But anyway, I don't think anyone's staying on beyond. Anyway, the 14th is perfect because that's 2 days after the conference ends. The most important are the 1st through the 12th. Those are the most important times. And I do have to get going. So I'll tell you what, here, but let me take care of that first, okay? Here, I'm just sending you an email just to confirm that that's the one. I just sent you an email. If you respond to that, then we'll be good to go, okay? Okay.
I don't know what the price is because it's not available for the second week. It's available in sporadic jumps in the second week, but I could book all the individual bits if you wanted. But we
get all the bits. Get all the bits that you possibly can. Here, I'm going to send you plenty of quid. So 1 second. Let me get that going. Could you just confirm your email? Could you check your email? I just want you to check it real quick, make sure you got it. I said, please confirm this is the one. You're on mute, Alan. You're muted there.
I'm just going to leave it off mute for a wee while there because I keep going to other pages and I'm pressing spacebar and talking and it's not working, obviously.
Yeah. So did you get the email that I sent?
Let me just go have another look and do a refresh on. I had to switch my computer back on because it was going so slow.
Sure.
Loading anything.
Sure. It's an email that says, please confirm this is the one. That's what the subject is.
What to do, just send £1 to the Daily Planet one because I do get my emails confirmations. That email that I've sent you there, it may have sent a confirmation, but it's supposed to forward it to this account.
All right. Okay, here, I'm going to do a test right now. Okay, I just did a test. I just did it. Yeah, let me know if that works. Did that work?
Just having to get a verification to get into PayPal.
Okay.
Ooh, was it? Oh, I've got money in my PayPal.
Did you receive it?
I've got money and there shouldn't be any money, so I'm just trying to scroll down to see where it came from. Recent activity from Jamin Shively. Yep, that's the one.
Okay. All right, I'm sending more quid right now. So
it's £69, but you actually sent.
No, I get it. I get it. Hey, listen,
it takes a percentage off. I don't know how much, but it's a couple of pounds less or something than what you
anyway,
said.
I just sent you 10 times that amount just to cover you for a bit. If you need more, let me know. Otherwise, I gotta go. Is that going to do it, or do you need more?
I don't know. It's not came through yet. I'll refresh the page. Oh, that's far too much, but yeah, that'll do.
Okay, great. Let me know if you ever need more. But really, rent the car for as many days as you possibly can. Super important. Okay. Because then we've got a place for you to stay right on the river, a really nice place. So just pack your bags, get the car, and we'll see you in Glasgow, okay?
Okie dokie.
And if there's any chance to get one with any kind of roof rack or extra capacity, a bonus, but even the simplest car is fine. We'll make it work, no problem. It's mainly to transport people, but bigger is better, even if it's more expensive. Anyway, I got to run. I'm going to play a couple of videos on my way out, but we've stopped recording. I'm just going to thank everyone. Okay, just want to thank everyone for being here today. I got to run, but what an awesome meeting. Oh my goodness. And please carry on. The 24-hour block party continues. Woo! All right. And I'm going to play a couple of videos, including That Is Not My Dog, before I then hit the road, which I need to do with urgency. Anyway, see you all next time. Thanks so much. And thank you for watching and participating in Dear Umair. See you next time. This has been a special edition of Dear Umair on the road to Glasgow. See you next time. Okay, I stopped the recording. Marco, I'll make you a host at the end, but right now, just to keep it flowing, I'm going to play a very special video called That Is Not My Dog. And then I'll play some of the press conference with President Fox, which is also a really good kind of introduction to this whole thing. That fair? All right, here goes. That is not my dog.
YouTube is still live, so you know.
Oh, that's fine. Let it be.
Guten Tag.
Good day.
My name is Professor Guy Gadbois, Medieval Castle Authority from Marseille. Tell me, do you have a room?
I do not know what a room is.
Zimmer.
Ah, a room.
That is what I have been saying, you idiot. Room. Zimmer. Does your dog bite?
No.
Oh. Nice dog. I thought you said your dog did not bite.
That is not my dog.
Okay, I hope you have enjoyed that video of That Is Not My Dog. And Marco, I'm going to just put the link in the chat to the press conference with President Fox in case you or anyone else wants to share that. Marco, I'm just going to make you host because I got to run. I mean, like, I really got to run. Seriously, got to run.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Marco. Appreciate it. All right. Love you all. Marco, I'm making you host. And love you all. Great to see you all. Sorry, I got to run. And thank you all so much for being here. Make sure to save the chat if you want to save the chat. And I'll see you all next time. Much love. And James and Jamie, see you guys in person in Glasgow. Love you all so much. See you soon. Thanks. Bye for now.
Travel safe, Jamin.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Much love. See you all soon. And Jewel, thank you so much. Awesome. Alice, Donald, Franca, Michael, James, Marco, Alan. Woo! Look forward to seeing many of you in Scotland and see you all soon. Much love. Bye for now.
Want to end the live stream, Marco, so we can chillax a bit?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do that right now. I don't see it. Oh, here we go. More.